Hello and welcome to Two Tiers Deep, the Women's Cricket Weekly Show, with me, Rosa Simkin.
And me, Chloe Hill.
I'm the journalist working in all the tiers of women's cricket.
And I'm the cricketer currently playing in the game.
Hello and welcome back to the Two Tiers Deep podcast. We're well into the 2026 season. There's an awful lot of cricket to talk about, but first and foremost, Chloe, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Not too bad. It feels like we are very much into the cricket season now. Lots of cricket going on across all three tiers, and the international summer has started as well. But how are you?
I am good. I'm in deadline hell at the moment. Any uni student will know what May is like, but we're nearly over, and then all focus turns to cricket for a massive summer.
Yeah, you are in a busy period right now. So I hope you're enjoying it, and fingers crossed you'll be out of it very, very soon.
We can hope for my sanity. Shall we start with some tier 2 cricket?
We shall. We had some rounds on Sunday.
We did. We had round 4, I want to say. I'm looking at
Round
the cricketer in the room.
Four. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going with 4. Round 4 of the Metro Bank One Day Cup. And there were some interesting fixtures, starting with Kent versus Glamorgan, where Glamorgan won by 40 runs. At the Upton Steel County Ground, Leicestershire beat Gloucestershire by 5 wickets. Gloucestershire struggling to get that win on the board. In Radlett, Middlesex beat Worcestershire by 7 wickets. And unfortunately, Chloe's Northants lost to Sussex by 76 runs.
Yeah, mixture of results this weekend. But you know what? You rather, especially for us at Northampton, rather get the loss in early, ahead of, I guess, a County Cup weekend that we'll discuss later on. And also, it's still early on in the season, where you can still play catch up enough towards the end of the season.
And they do say that in order to win a trophy, you've got to lose a game at some point. So, you've got that done. There you go. Now you're on the way to win your One Day Cup.
Perfect. See, Middlesex and Glamorgan haven't lost a game yet, so we're clearly on that running path right now. But shall I run through the table as it stands after round 4? Perfect. So sitting at the top of the table in first place is Glamorgan on 18 points. In second place is Middlesex on 15 points. Sussex in third on 10 points. Northants in fourth on 9 points. Kent in fifth place on 8 points. Leicestershire in sixth on 8 points. Worcestershire in seventh on 4 points. Gloucestershire in eighth, sadly, on 0 points. And Derbyshire sat at the bottom in ninth on 0 points as well, with a game in hand.
It's a rather interesting table, I think, this one. In a lot of ways, it's very similar to last year, with having Glamorgan and Middlesex and you guys near the top, and Derbyshire. Oh, Derbyshire, please win a 50-over game of cricket. We beg you. We can't go 2 years in a row. But we've also got some teams who are quite possibly overperforming slightly based on estimations at the beginning of the season. Sussex as one of those in third, especially given all of the issues behind the scenes going on at Sussex at the moment. It's remarkable that they're doing so well. And also Kent, who are looking quite solid in fifth.
Yeah, Kent are having a good little run at the moment. Obviously, they lost their first game. I will say it was to Northants. But they've been on a bit of a winning streak since then. And later on in the pod, you'll hear from one of our guests who has been ever present in that Kent side. I guess sort of potentially maybe being the backbone to Kent's side at the moment, to helping them seal some victories. So yeah, that's certainly a key one to listen to. But yeah, I'm happy for Kent, because last year I think they were near the bottom and certainly underperformed with the players they had. And again with Sussex, they've got some talented players linked with the Hampshire pathway as well. So yeah, really, really good to see Sussex up there as well.
We've also got Gloucestershire, who I think it's safe to say are struggling a little bit. I mean, we've spoken about it before. Very young, exciting team, a lot of raw talent. They've been very promising with ball in hand, I think throughout the tournament, I don't think they've had any issues bowling economically, taking wickets. It's bat where they've had the problem, and they did get a boost in their batting over the weekend. Lizzie McLeod has gone on loan from Essex for the season. Chloe Brewer was there from Warwickshire. So they're running out of excuses, I think, in terms of getting those totals on the board.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to note is that both Lissy and Chloe both contributed with the bat. So I think Gloucestershire as a team now need to start looking at themselves and taking a little bit of ownership with the bat, because they've certainly got the players to score those runs and produce those runs. I think Brooke Halliday at the top of the order got her first 50 of the season. And there's certainly so many other capable players in that batting lineup who can produce a match-winning knock. So hopefully having the experience now of Lissy McLeod alongside Chloe Brewer, I think will shape them in good stead going forward into the next couple of games. So yeah, we're certainly rooting for them to get a win on the board and produce that big total with the bat, because certainly with the ball they look like a threat.
They really do. Should we have a look at some Tier 1 cricket? Because we've had, oh God, Rosa's doing maths, round 8 of the Metrobank One Day Cup League 1. You'll notice that there's a bit of a difference between Tier 2 and Tier 1. We should point out that obviously the Tier 1 counties play midweek and have double the amount of fixtures as the Tier 2 counties. So that will be the theme throughout the season.
Do you want to run through the results for that match, or would you like me to run through any results?
I'm happy to run through the results because I'm going to make Chloe do the table again because everyone knows how badly it goes.
Perfect.
I was just a bit flabbergasted about where the games were played in this game week. There was a lot of outground used. Warwickshire beat Lancashire by 4 wickets at Southport, and it was a gritty one there. The Blaze beat Somerset by 6 wickets at Exmouth. Hampshire beat Yorkshire by 16 runs on DLS method in York. And Surrey beat Essex by 3 wickets at the Oval.
Yeah, some interesting results. I mean, Hampshire will be glad to continue, I guess, a little bit of their winning streak, a little bit of having the momentum. The Blaze are certainly looking like a strong unit with or without England players or key players stepping up. Someone is always putting their name in the hat and contributing. And Surrey, after 3 losses on the bounce, are back. They're back for a win. Essex were on a little winning momentum, but Surrey were able to knock them off that, and Surrey were able to get their win again.
And I mean, Surrey made it a little bit spicy, in all honesty. The batting was pretty poor and on the whole. I mean, looking at the scores, we had an 18, Alice Monaghan with 49, a 7, a 12, 29, 1, 31, 12, 37. So relying again on that back order. But I guess that's why they have such a deep batting order.
Yeah, I think it's really, really key to note that Ailish Cranstone, her first game back at the Keir Oval in 2 years now, after a bit of horrific injury at the end of the regional era. And that was really nice that she was able to get her team over the line and be knocked out at the end there, with Priyanaz Chatterjee, who I think she was really fantastic in the last game as well, with the bat and with the ball. And I think that's got to excite her, especially going into a home World Cup for Scotland, that she's sort of going into that with a bit of form.
Well, indeed. Do you want to take our listeners through the table?
Let's go. So at the top of the table, we have the Blaze on 28 points, Hampshire in second on 23 points, Surrey in third on 18 points, Warwickshire in fourth on 15 points, Somerset in fifth on 13 points, Yorkshire moving up that table. They're now in sixth on 12 points, Essex in seventh on 12 points, Lancashire in eighth on 10 points, and Durham in ninth on 10 points, just with the run rate there between Durham and Lancashire. And I think that's probably a key one to notice, that Lancashire are second from bottom in the 50 over comp, where they were or are the reigning champions.
Lancashire have really struggled this season, and I don't think they've had much of an excuse to struggle as much as they have. It's not like they've had an injury crisis of any sort. They've got pretty much their strongest squad available. They've got Kate Cross now full-time. She's no longer playing for England. They have suffered the loss of Mahika Gore, which we'll talk a bit more about later, which is a blow. but they have such a big squad and so much depth that they should be able to make up from that. And it's important to point out, I mean, looking at this table, we've got Durham, who've had a tie, and behind them, they've lost 4 games. Lancashire have actually lost 5 of their 7 games. So it's not a great picture right now if you're a Red Roses fan.
No, it's certainly not. And I think it's a little bit nervy and a little bit worrying to see Lancashire in that position, especially with deciding with the players they've got. And I think it's probably key to notice again that Ellie Threlkeld was probably the main contributor with the bat again, batting at 3. But they are missing Emma Lamb at the top of the order, and Emma Lamb and last year she produced a ridiculous amount of runs for them. So I guess they're missing that someone to sort of step up at the top of the order, to score those key runs for them.
I don't think they've given Tilly Castavan an opportunity though, have they, in that 11? And she's someone who really stood up last year in that county cup. She's probably the reason they lifted that county cup. I probably should check if they haven't played. I haven't actually. Should we have a look?
I feel like she might have played 1 game or so, but yeah, she's certainly not played many. She's been in her Loughborough Uni performance side playing for them to make sure, I guess, that she's getting game time. But yeah, I guess Lancashire aren't using her as much as probably what they should be.
So Tilly has not played a game for Lancashire this season. Maybe worth a go is what I'd say. If you're struggling for runs at the top of the order, you've not got much to lose. I think the reality of the One Day Cup is it's only top 3 qualifying this year, isn't it? So it's going to be really difficult to bounce back from being an 8th. Obviously, anything can happen in a tournament of this length. But in reality, do I see the Blaze or Hampshire stepping off the mark enough to slip down the table? No. I think the 3rd spot could be interesting between Surrey, now they've lost all their England players, and maybe a Warwickshire or even a Somerset. But I think Lancashire have got themselves in a really difficult position.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's key to note that we saw Somerset hand out 2 short-term contracts to Jasmine Wesley, and corrects me with the other one. Is a player from Devon, so she sort of skipped out year 2, tier 2. Have you got the name, Rosa?
Maddie Russell.
So
15-year-old Maddie Russell, can I add?
Yeah, so key to note that she's clearly a potential talent and a potential threat with. Is she a batter or a bowler? Do you know?
I think she does both off the top of my head.
So a very handy, young, exciting all-rounder. And then, yeah, Jasmine Wesley, again, pretty much an all-rounder, offers a bit of off-spin and contributes with the bat. I've seen that she's captained Somerset's academy, and I guess with Sophie Luff having that concussion injury, they're clearly missing someone at the top of the order, and that they want to rotate and try and find that best fit for them. So, yeah, absolutely love that Somerset are giving youngsters an opportunity and sort of giving them their first contract, whether that's a short contract for a month or so. It's still better than nothing and still enticing them for what's to come.
It'll be interesting as well to see whether more teams follow that trend of offering their academy players those short-term contracts, or whether we see more tier 2 involvement going through into tier 1. I think Somerset are in a bit of a unique position in that a lot of Gloucestershire's players are associated with Glamorgan's academy, and obviously Glamorgan will be thinking ahead to next year, so might not want their players going on loan to Somerset. It's a game of cat and mouse, really.
Yeah, 100%. So it certainly will be one to keep an eye out, I think. Shall we, or shall I move on to the tables across tier 3 in their second round of the Vitality Blast, as tier 3 are starting with the Vitality Blast, not the Metro Bank?
Fire away.
Perfect. So in Division 1A, as we've explained on previous pods, there are 4 divisions. 2 in Division 1, A and B, a bit like a North and a South, and 2 in Division 2, a bit like a North and a South, just to make it easier for listeners. So in Division 1A, sitting at the top of the table after 4 games is Wiltshire on 13 points. In second place is Berkshire on 9 points, Devon in third place on 8 points, and Oxfordshire in fourth place on 4 points. Nearly did a U with the table then. In Division 1B, sitting at the top after 4 games is Bucks on 15 points. In second place, Cheshire on 10 points. Third place, Staffordshire on 8th. And in fourth place, Hertfordshire on 4 points. Now, if we move to Division 2A and 2B, we've got Dorset at the top of the table on 18 points, Cambridgeshire in second place on 10 points, Cornwall in third on 5 points. What's going on? I'm doing a U today. There's too many. Cornwall in third place on 5 points, Cricket East in fourth place on 4 points, and in fifth place is Suffolk, unfortunately not to get a win yet. And in Division 2B, sitting at the top of the table, and the team sitting at the bottom here, I think will really surprise you, given what we know that is coming this weekend. So, sitting at the top of the table in Division 2B is Cricket Shropshire on 18 points, Cumbria in second place on 15 points, Lincolnshire in third place on 9 points, Northumberland in fourth place on 9 points, Herefordshire in fifth place on 5 points, and after 4 games in the Vitality Blast in Division 2B, in sixth place is Norfolk, unfortunately not to get a win. Now, Norfolk have got a very exciting game this Sunday. I believe it's Sunday, against Buckinghamshire in round 2 of the County Cup. And in round 1, they knocked out a Tier 2 side in Sussex. So that's actually quite interesting to see that they're sat at the bottom of that table without a win.
It really is. I mean, maybe they're just a team who are, I mean, they're about to say are better in the T20 format. They're playing T20s. I do pay attention, I promise. It's really surprising that they can't go over the line in Tier 3 when they absolutely got over the line against Sussex. Sussex have been good in Tier 2 as well. It's not like they're at the bottom of the table in the One Day Cup of Tier 2. It was definitely an upset of all upsets, but that's what the FA Cup's about, as we say.
100%. And speaking of the County Cup, shall we whiz through the fixtures we've got this weekend of round 2? And this is still before any Tier 1 side has entered into the County Cup. So looking ahead to this weekend's Vitality T20 County Cup fixtures round 2, we have got Buckinghamshire taking on Norfolk at Ascot Park. We've got Middlesex taking on Hertfordshire at Radlett. We've got Northamptonshire taking on Bedfordshire and Huntingdonshire at Desborough Cricket Club. And we've got Derbyshire taking on Cumbria at Denbigh Village Cricket Club. At Grace Road, we've got Leicestershire taking on Worcestershire. At Wokenham Cricket Club, we've got Berkshire versus Glamorgan. And at St Edward's School in Oxfordshire, we've got Oxfordshire taking on Gloucestershire.
Some exciting old fixtures there. And Chloe, you're back in action.
We are back in action, and one that I'm quite excited for. We're playing at a lovely cricket ground in Desborough against Bedfordshire and Huntingdonshire, and I guess Northampton sort of has the little link with Beds and Hunts to sort of feed Tier 3 players in. So we've had a few Tier 3 players from Beds and Hunt come in and train with us. So I guess we've got a little bit of an insight of what to expect, and a few of the girls used to play for Beds and Hunts throughout the pathway growing up. I think it'll be a really friendly game, but I guess also we'll want to be competitive and have a fairly good run. I think we've got, if we win this game, we've got a chance to have a really good run into the quarterfinals.
Come on, I want you to go all the way, Chloe. Northampton to win the T20 County Cup.
Yeah, and I guess I'm also excited for my home club Buckinghamshire to play Norfolk. Hoping that they'll get a little bit of an upset win and get through to next round of the cup with a fairly young, exciting team. And just looking at all of the others, we've got pretty much Tier 2 versus Tier 3 and all of them, bar Leicestershire versus Worcestershire, which is Tier 2 versus Tier 2. And I know Leicestershire obviously got the win over Worcestershire the other week, so I'm sure Worcester would potentially be looking to cause an upset. But Leicestershire playing at Grace Road have got a little bit of a home advantage.
I mean, they're 6th and 7th in the table in the One Day Cup, aren't they? So they've been playing some pretty similar cricket. They've both had games where they've absolutely excelled and games where they've really struggled. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they go up against each other.
100%. And then in terms of Berkshire versus Glamorgan, I guess Berkshire have got the home advantage at Wokenham at their club cricket ground where they play at regularly, and Oxfordshire against Gloucestershire playing at St Edward's School, which is another home advantage for the Tier 3 side. So will we see some more Tier 3 upsets against the Tier 2?
I mean, Glamorgan made their win against Devon look a little bit spicy in the last round, so potentially we can hope so. We love an upset here on the Two Tiers Deep podcast. We will circle back to some county cricket at the end of the episode when we go through our teams of the week. But first, there's been an awful lot of international action, Chloe.
There has been a lot. I guess we've had one game completed, one game washed out. We've had several squad announcements for the World Cup. Where do you want to start?
Shall we start local and start with England, because they have got their international summer underway with an ODI series against the Kiwis?
We do indeed. The first game, I guess, was at Durham down at Chester Street. And it was a little bit of an exciting thriller. And one that I was actually really happy that a debutant was there at the end to sort of soak in that her day, really.
Indeed, for context, at Chester Street, England beat New Zealand by 1 wicket. They chased down 210 all out with 10 balls to go. It was really quite spicy. After that first New Zealand innings, you were kind of thinking, okay then, England are in a really strong position. You know, Minika got 55, Maddie Green got 88, but apart from that, no one could really kick on for them. And there were some wickets for our debutante, Tilly Courtine-Coleman, with 2 for 49 from 10 overs. She looked in quite some form.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see her play for England for several years now, to be honest with you. It was really lovely, I guess, that Sophie Eccleston, a fellow left-arm spinner, presented her cap before the game. And I hope that it was sort of done, that Sophie Eccleston, I guess, is resting this series, I would guess, to give Tilly Courtine-Coleman her international opportunities ahead of the World Cup. We also saw Danny Gibson make her ODI debut, even though we've seen her in an England shirt for a fair few years. She bowled 6 overs, 1 for 28. And then we had one more debutant in a leg spinner and a left-handed opening bat in Jodie Grewcock. And she also got a wicket on debut. So really, really exciting day. One thing I guess I kind of would like to discuss is I understand the hype for Tilly Courtine-Coleman, but if I was Jodie Grewcock or Danny Gibson, all the limelight and sort of the headlines were all on Tilly for the day, and even the commentators. Now for Jodie making her debut at such a young age as well, I think you would kind of think the limelight's off you and not probably how you want it to be. I guess that's just a little bit of a sad side for me that I wanted to express about.
I guess it's not particularly surprising. I mean, Tilly Courtine-Coleman has been grabbing a lot of headlines recently, especially after that 100 auction, picking up over 100 grand. And Jodie Grewcock, I think, is someone who more quietly does her work. And she was, before that game, I'm pretty sure the highest run scorer in the One Day Cup. She's now been passed because she also didn't play in the One Day Cup. Always consistent with ball in hand. Is a real gem for Essex, and I'm not quite sure where they would be without her, in all honesty. And then you've got Danny Gibson, who hasn't played a game for England in over 500 days because of the injuries she's been battling. It will probably surprise people that it was her first ODI game. It surprised me, in all honesty. It feels like she's been around that setup for a really long time, but she was meant to make her ODI debut, and that's when she got injured. So it's great to see all of them playing in the wickets alongside some England mainstays, with Bow getting 2, Filer getting 1, and Dean getting 2.
Yeah, I guess some good takeaways from that game, all in all. Good to see some other players step up. Good to see Lauren Bell is performing with the new ball. And really nice to see, I guess, Lauren Filer, her teammate at the other end. 2 nice, tall, quick bowlers together. And yeah, obviously, Charlie Dean taking on the captaincy reins, and she absolutely thrived, I would say, that day, under pressure with the bat and with the ball.
She really did thrive with the bat, and she needed to, because England were in quite some trouble. They were 42 for 3 after 12.2 overs. It wasn't as successful a batting debut for Jodie Grewcock, who only managed 3. Emma Lamb only got 15. Heather Knight 19. Maya Boucher coming in, steadying the ranks with 59, backed up by Freya Kemp with 30. But then they get out, and I think all England fans are thinking, oh, we're in a bit of trouble here, because my word, it is a long batting tail. But Charlie Dean, the hero of the moment, with 31 not out from 46, is taking England over the line.
Yeah, I absolutely loved watching Charlie Dean go about her batting innings there. So smart, so clever, so calculated. Low risk, high rewards. She worked really, really well with her batting partner, whoever that was at the time, and Lauren Bell coming in at 9, the highest I think she's ever batted in an ODI. Batting for 27 balls for her 12 runs, but sticking it out there with Charlie Dean to sort of build that partnership. Unfortunately, Lauren Filer couldn't get off the mark, but she was working with Charlie Dean really, really hard. And then, yeah, like we said at the start, Tilly Courtine-Coleman, a debutant out there with a cool, calm head. And that moment, I think, was sort of meant for her, if I'm honest. From the personality I know that she is, and obviously playing with her, she would have absolutely loved that, to be out there in that moment, and to tick off a fantastic day.
She really would have. I do have a rant about the day, though, Chloe. I don't know how much of the game you saw. Were you playing whilst this game was happening?
Yeah.
I've lost track. Yeah, you were playing in tier 2, weren't you? The fielding. My word, England's fielding was pretty poor. And knowing Lottie Edwards, I'm going to guess that has been spoken about, as she is someone who really prides herself on her team's fielding. But there were some absolute howlers dropped in the field. There were a lot of missed fields. It wasn't a particularly good look, I'd say. So hopefully come the third ODI, we can iron it out slightly and look a little bit more clean.
Yeah, that's not good to hear. Yeah, I didn't obviously catch the game, obviously, because we were playing. But yeah, considering it's something I think England have spoken really highly about going into this new sort of era, I guess, with Charlotte Edwards, that fielding and fitness is going to be up there. And I think fitness has improved, to be honest. And I think from what we've seen in terms of training and conversations, that fielding has, and there has been a key emphasis on it. But I guess it's just disappointing that it wasn't shown in that first opportunity of the international summer to go out and dominate in the field and win key moments. But shall we obviously touch on game 2, even though there was no result and no game played?
I mean, I guess that's all there is to say. Yeah. Northampton, there was an awful lot of rain. When it rained, it poured, and we didn't get a game. It was a no result. They did try. They did get a toss in. I think they were probably a bit overly optimistic with getting that toss in. I saw a picture whilst the toss was happening, and it was definitely still absolutely belting it down. But I appreciate the effort to get a game on from everyone involved, for the spectators that had stuck about.
Yeah, and I think when it's on telly and when it's an international match, they will try their hardest to get it on and take it right down to the latest cut-off as possible, which they tried, and I think fair play. And unfortunately, the weather has won this week, and yeah, yesterday, today, tomorrow, the weather's not looking great. So let's hope it doesn't affect the County Cup weekend either.
We can have our fingers crossed. Before we have a quick whistle-stop tour of some World Cup squads, there were some replacements in the England squad for this series. We saw Karis Pavey called up as batting cover for the first ODI for Alice Capsey, who wasn't feeling very well. She didn't play, but a great opportunity for her to be around the squad. She's a top scorer in the One Day Cup, so it makes an awful lot of sense for her to get that call up now. We've also had Alexa Stonehouse called up for the rest of the series, in kind of replacing both Em Arlott and Izzy Wong, a Warwickshire trio at that. Em Arlott picked up a concussion in the nets. And Mahika Gore, my word, Mahika Gore of Lancashire broke her foot in a training session, so we wish her a really speedy recovery. And there's also some concern surrounding Izzy Wong's availability for the World Cup after she picked up a hamstring injury. Not a great day for England's pace bowling department.
No, not a good day. And I think if you are someone like Kate Cross, who has been a stalwart for England in that team for so many years, losing your contracts, and it's a home World Cup, back to Lancashire and seeing all the bowlers go down, I think she should be chomping at the bits, but also I think it's a bit bittersweet that the opportunity for her isn't there anymore, I guess. But yeah, hopefully, touchwood, Lauren Fowler and Lauren Bell can stay fit. But I'm actually really, really excited for Alexa Stonehouse to hopefully get an opportunity. A really talented left-arm seamer with the ball, very capable with the bat as well. And I think it's a great opportunity to sort of give these players a bit of exposure now and a bit of opportunity. I think we said the same about Kira Chatley. Hopefully she might get an opportunity with the bat or with the gloves. But yeah, really, really exciting opportunities for the players to be called up. And Karis Paley, she is in some phenomenal form. And I have to say, Karis Paley for Tier 1 and Coco Streaks for Tier 2 are seriously competing with each other with either 100s or 50s plus every game. So yeah, that's one I think to keep an eye out, and hopefully Karis will get more of an opportunity in international colours over the next few years, I would say.
I'm sure she will. I think we'll probably see a lot of her in an England shirt in future years. Shall we have a look at some World Cup squads, Chloe? Because we've had two very big announcements for different reasons.
Yeah, do you want to whiz through them?
I will indeed. Let's start with Australia, the famous Australia, who I think everyone was already a little bit scared of. And after I read the squad to you, you're going to see why. Starting with their captain, Sophie Molyneux, followed by Nick Carey, Ash Gardner, Kim Garth, Lucy Hamilton, Grace Harris, Alana King, Phoebe Litchfield, Talia McGrath, Beth Mooney, Elise Perry, Megan Schutz, Annabelle Sutherland, Georgia Vole, Georgia Wareham, and Talia Wilson, who is a travelling reserve. For context on Talia Wilson, she's already here, if you're not aware. She is playing for Durham in the One Day Cup, so it makes sense to have her in as a travelling reserve. What a squad, Chloe.
What a squad. We say it every time, I think, when Australia announce their squad for a World Cup or for a competition, that it's always pretty terrifying. I guess obviously the key one to note is no Alyssa Healy in this squad. Obviously, as she made her retirement announcement at the back end of the Indian series. So this will be the first, I guess, major comp with no Alyssa Healy in for so many years now. But what a team. What a threat with the bat and the ball. I think I can't even pick out any key standouts because I think I'll just end up naming the whole squad, to be honest.
The one we probably should touch on is Alana King, who has got the call-up. She's one who's struggled to get T20 game time, which when you say that, it's genuinely mental, because she'd walk into any other international team globally. I think the messaging has been that she is very much a fourth choice spinner and she'll only play when conditions allow her to. But for her to be in that squad is super exciting to hopefully stake her claim and really get somewhere in a T20 shirt.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely baffling that we discuss Alana King potentially not even being in that starting 11, but put her in an England shirt. She'll probably be in that starting 11 week in, week out. She's phenomenal with what she does with the ball, and if she gets an opportunity, I'm sure she'll cause a complete upset with the ball and later down the orders with some runs that we've seen her produce. But all in all, such a fantastic squad. Shall we have a little look at the Scotland squad? I also think that there's a South African squad announcement as well, isn't there?
You're so right. I didn't even write it on my notes, and that's a really big one. But let's start with Scotland. Do you want to take us through Scotland's squad?
Perfect. And to name this Scotland squad, we have captain Catherine Bryce, Chloe Abel, Olivia Bell, Sarah Bryce, Darcy Carter, Priyanez Chatterjee, Gabriella Fontella, Catherine Fraser, Kirsty Gordon, Elsa Lister, Macy Makira, Abtahar Maksud, Megan McCall, Rachel Slater, and Pippa Sproul. and that is our Scotland squad. And we have got a lot of England domestic players across Tier 1 and Tier 2 in this squad. What is going to happen when it's the domestic season?
All but one of that squad play their cricket somewhere in England. The anomaly is Maisie Makira, all in Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 1 academies. I mean, wowzers.
Yeah, that is going to be a big hit on domestic cricket over the summer. But how exciting for Scotland to be in a home World Cup. I think we've been saying it for the last few weeks. So I'm actually really excited to see it. And I'm really excited to hopefully see in Tier 1, Tier 2, some new players get some opportunities and some debutants, I would say.
100%. There's one more squad, as Chloe pointed out. We have had a South African squad announcement. Shall I have a whiz through South Africa's World Cup squad?
Let's have a look. And there's two exciting names that I'm actually really looking forward to you reading out.
There are indeed. Starting with their captain, Laura Wolvaart, followed by Tasmin Britt, Nadine de Klerk, Annery Dirksen, Shabnam Ismail, Sonola Jafta, Marizanne Kapp, Ayabonga Kaka, Sune Luce, Karabo Miso, Nonkaleku Malaba, Kayla Renike, Tumi Sekakuni, Chloe Tryon, and Dane van Neerkirk. Chloe, we're having a reunion.
We are. All we need is Lizelle Lee to come back to South Africa, and that would be a formidable lineup. I'm actually really excited that Shabnam Ismail and Dane van Neerkirk are back in that side. South Africa are clearly going for the win, and what a strong side that they put out.
I mean, for them to be able to persuade Shabnam to come out of retirement is absolutely massive. I mean, we're in a 3-year World Cup cycle now. There's 3 World Cups in 3 years. So if they can keep her in that squad, they're looking pretty formidable.
Yeah, I think this World Cup is just getting even more and more exciting with every squad announcement we're seeing. And I'm so looking forward to seeing which team's going to cause an upset, which team's going to run away with it. I certainly think it's going to be a lot closer than any other World Cup we've seen.
I really hope so. I think it's been being built for a long time. I'm going to be honest, I don't think the coverage of it has been incredible outside of the cricket space. If you're involved in the cricket space, you know the World Cup's coming. So hopefully as the tournament gets closer, we see more push to have it reach more people so we can truly make that impact of a home World Cup. But it's going to be a super, super exciting summer.
Yeah, a really, really exciting one that hopefully will go down as one of the best World Cups we've seen, hopefully in history. And hopefully there's going to be some fantastic moments. And obviously we want England to go out there and win and join the Lionesses and the Red Roses.
100%. Shall we introduce people to our guest?
We should. This player, shall I read some key stats out about them with where they're at the moment?
I reckon you should, because this player is having quite the season in Tier 2 cricket and has played a pretty formidable role in Kent's campaign so far.
This player is currently the leading run scorer for the Metrobank Tier 2 on 379 runs. She has scored the most fours in 49 fours, and she is Kent's vice captain. And we are very, very delighted to welcome on to the podcast, Coco Streets.
First of all, Coco, welcome to the Two Tiers Deep podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, guys. Really happy to be on.
Perfect. And I'm going to take it away with the first question. So you've had an incredible start to the One Day Cup season so far. Did you feel during pre-season that was kind of the runs were coming, or has it surprised you a bit?
I'd say a bit of both. I don't know. I've worked really hard and changed my technique quite a lot over the winter, and things were definitely feeling really good. And I think when you have like the backing of your coaches, and obviously I'm batting in a new position, So it felt great to have that confidence. But I guess you can train as hard as you like, and you never really know how things are gonna pan out. So yeah, feeling super lucky that things have definitely paid off so far. But yeah, worked really hard to get here, so it's nice to have it paid off.
I mean, context for our listeners, you're on a ridiculous run in the One Day Cup. You've not scored below 50 yet in the tournament. I've got them here. You've got 78 versus Northants, 108 versus Derbyshire, 104 not out versus Sussex, and 89 versus Glamorgan. And Chloe also has a stat about top run scorer, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, just got a few stats as well. So at the moment, you're leading the Tier 2 One Day Cup run scorer with 379 runs, and the next person in second place is only on 202. So you're well ahead on that. You've also got the highest average of 126, and also you've scored the most fours by a country mile. You're on 49 fours, and the next person to score the most fours is 24 fours. So well ahead on that as well. Flying.
God, it's so weird to hear like random numbers to your name. But yeah, I know it's cool to hear for sure.
I mean, we love a stat on the Two Tiers Deep podcast, but when you're in that kind of run of form, is it something you consciously think about that, oh, I've got 50 this, 50 that, or do you kind of block it out and just keep on scoring the runs?
Yeah, I try not to think about it too much. I'm kind of just thinking, just hit ball, just play ball, hit ball. Especially opening, like I'm just trying to face out that first little section of the game, and then obviously depending on how that goes, you kind of play the situation from there. But yeah, no, I definitely try not to look at the numbers side of it too much. But it is cool to hear that for sure.
And you spoke about it a little, well, I was going to say a couple of minutes ago, but about the changes over the winter. But what has been the biggest difference in your batting this year compared to previous seasons?
Yeah, I think so. I had the last couple, not this winter, but winters before I was in Oz for 2 winters. And I think taking that break and kind of having initially first like a couple months off cricket and then really just getting into my technique and working really hard and drilling that for a few months has definitely been the major thing for me. I think having a break, not thinking about it for a bit, and then coming back to it and working really hard on kind of the more mundane technical stuff has really paid off. So for sure, I mean, the hours on that has definitely helped me big time. But yeah, just the technique is a big change for me for sure.
You guys are currently fifth in the Metrobank One Day Cup League 2. Does the table, do you think, reflect where the side's at, or do you think as a group you're capable of climbing much higher?
I'd say for now it's probably fair enough. I'd say mid-table is probably where we are at. Obviously yesterday we had a tough game against Glamorgan, who we know are going up next year. But I think especially after a game like yesterday, we spoke as a group and we were really proud of the effort we put in. I think last year chasing 350, I think we probably would have been, I can imagine 150 all out on a good day. So the fact that we got within 40 runs of it was seriously impressive, and without one of our batters batting. So I think the progress we've made is seriously, we're over the moon with it. But yeah, I think there's still definitely improvements to be made. So I think considering we've played one of the stronger teams in the comp and Northants as well, who are really strong. I think we're definitely really happy to have 2 wins on the board. Last year we only won one game, so we've doubled that already, which is definitely a positive thing.
Appreciate the little Northants shout out there.
Yeah. Gotta be done.
Thanks. And as I said, there's been lots of changes, and I guess the growth in the women's domestic game with Project Darwin. How have you found adapting to the new structure and environment now we're in to the second season of it? And I guess you obviously experienced a little bit of the old regional system with South East Stars as well. So is there much differences you can see between it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely been a massively positive thing. I think being more aligned with the men's club as well has been really positive for us. Being able to feed and learn off them in the same environment has been massively positive. I think last year we didn't really know what to expect in a lot of aspects, and I'm sure most counties are in the obviously felt the same thing. So I think this year we definitely felt a lot more prepped, kind of knowing what to expect, how other teams were going to play, what sort of players they had, the loan system, loads of bits we honestly probably didn't really know. It was completely unknown territory. So I think having 1 year under our belt now, we're definitely in a much better place to kind of understand it all. And I think it's definitely paving the way for for women's cricket, like incredibly. You can see the pathway a lot more clearer now, and even seeing the amount of girls in the last year who have gone on to make their debuts professionally, it's been incredible to see. So I can imagine it's only going to get stronger and stronger as the competition progresses.
I mean, you've spoken about it a bit there, but what would you say has been the biggest positive? And is there anything you think we can still work on as the system's still evolving?
I'd say the biggest positive is probably the clarity in the pathway now. I think it is a pretty clear-cut way through, especially with the addition of things like challenges. There's more second 11 cricket. And obviously more teams are starting to go into that tier one division with Glamorgan next year. There's a whole other team in the mix as well, which is only adding more and more opportunities. And even so, we're seeing more girls getting picked in the 100 and whatnot. So I feel like it's definitely clear to see the opportunities are growing, which is the main thing. I'd say the one thing that would be good to kind of nail down on would be I feel like the loan system is still quite an unknown, funky area. I know obviously each team uses it very differently, and that's completely fair when the rules are so open and people can kind of do what they want. But I guess it'd be interesting to see that maybe nailed down a bit more, so counties kind of have to kind of stick to a few players each season. But yeah, no, overall it's definitely been a massive improvement on over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I was going to say it's quite an interesting one about the loan system. Not many people have sort of flagged that, but it is such an unknown sort of territory, I guess, across all three tiers at the moment.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you kind of forget there's obviously tier 3 as well, let alone just tier 1. And you kind of have an idea of who you might face each week when you look at who you've got, but you never really know who's on loan to where. So obviously that's another exciting element in the sense you don't know who you're playing, but I think it would be good to kind of have a bit more clarity on that, I guess.
And then going back to you and your batting, I guess, is there any bowlers this season who have really tested you or have brought the best out of you? Because it's been like a really good bat v ball challenge.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. And even kind of leading on from that loan system, the really big positives has been facing girls who are bowling in tier 1. So like at Sussex last week when facing people like Poppy Tulloch, who are obviously bowling week in, week out for Hampshire, that was really nice to have that exposure. And who did we face yesterday? Wheeler yesterday for Glamorgan. She was brilliant too. That's definitely a massive positive, especially with the seam bowlers, I find. Not that there's, a lack, obviously there's not loads and loads of quick seam bowlers out there. So I think when we get that exposure to face girls who have been training in those environments, it's a massive positive for us, especially as batters.
And then looking at you still, how much responsibility do you feel as one of Kent's informed players? Obviously, also vice captain in those pressure moments. You spoke about how you struggled last season as a unit to get runs on the board. So do you feel that additional pressure, or is it just part of the game?
Yeah, it's definitely just part of the game. I think, yeah, as a group, we definitely struggled last year, which was such a shame because on paper we had such a strong batting unit and still do. And we've obviously luckily been able to add a few faces as well who are extremely talented. I don't necessarily feel the pressure as such, but I mean, Chloe can obviously like agree on this, I guess. But being like opening, it's a tricky role, and you obviously got to stick in there and do what you can, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, but you're kind of going out there doing one of the hardest roles. So I try not to think about it being too pressurized, and try to almost think less and kind of just play. But no, it's we've definitely come on leaps and bounds this year. Like we're scoring almost double the amount of runs already that we probably did last year, so something's definitely changed and it's feeling a lot better for sure.
100%. And I guess looking ahead to the rest of the season, what would success look like to you personally and as a team with Kent?
As a team, we'd love to make top 4, I think, especially in that one day cup. Like we've, got two of the harder fixtures out the way, especially playing you guys and playing Glam now. So we're in a really good place, and I think we've taken a lot of positives, especially beating Derbyshire and Sussex back to back. So I think if we can make that top 4 and get into the semi-finals, that would be massive for us. And similarly with Blast, I think we're a team that's really well equipped for T20 cricket. So hopefully we can take this good run of form and keep it going into the T20 stuff. And personally, obviously, I'd love to just keep getting some runs. That would be great. And try not to think too much about it and kind of just play as I am is the aim. Yeah.
I think we're going to move on to some fun quickfire unless Chloe has anything she wants to add.
I mean, it'd be quite nice, I guess, to obviously just touch on like the coaches at Kent who have, I guess, helped you and sort of shaped you this winter and changed your techniques. Like, I guess how much of an influence they've had and a part of your game.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, especially from a batting side at Kent, obviously James Hockley, who's our head coach, and Garrett Jones, excuse me, who is our assistant coach. They've both been brilliant, been so supportive throughout the whole process. And I've done a lot of work with Dave Smith and Mike Barber as well outside of that. And they've both been brilliant as well, like combining the two, doing some more technical stuff in the week and then bringing it into more game-based scenarios with the Kent lot. At group training has been really beneficial, and they've been so supportive the whole way, and honestly would not be here without them for sure. So yeah, very grateful.
We love shouting out some coaches here on the podcast.
We love
shout outs. We do indeed. On to some quickfire. We like to end with a bit of fun away from the serious discussion, and it's a little bit random. I would say I'm sorry about it, but we're not.
No shame. Love that. It's all good.
First of all, what 3 celebs are you inviting to a dinner party?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. Right. Okay, 3 celebs. Gosh. Okay, I'd go. Who would I go? Go Freddie Flintoff for a bit of kind of cricket related. Keep it in there a bit. Obviously big personality, would love him there. I'd go Theo James. Love Theo James, one of my favourite actors. Who else would I go? Let's go someone quite different. We'll go someone like Adele for like really good vibes. Could sing a bit maybe as well. Quite a weird combination, I've just realised. But those are the 3 that have just come to my head. So we'll go with that.
Some 3 really good people as well, like great personalities as well. I reckon that'd be quite a fun dinner.
I reckon it could be, yeah.
And then we're just going to change it up with T20 or 50 over cricket.
50 over cricket, I'm going to go with at the moment.
Bats first or bowl first?
Bat first. Although, actually saying that, we've chased every game this year, but normally I'd say bat first.
The best bowler you've ever faced, and this can be across your cricketing career so far.
Oh gosh. I faced Lauren Cheadle playing club cricket in Australia, and I'd say she's definitely up there. She was not the most fun to face.
Genuinely can't think of anything worse.
Yeah, no, it was horrid.
To play with. Like, I mean, as a tail ender, Chloe would definitely do better than I would against Lauren Cheadle, that's for sure.
Oh, it was absolutely horrid.
A player you'd love to play with?
Oh, player I'd love to play with. I feel like I'd love to play with Danny Wyatt. I feel like watching her play, especially at the moment, like the run she's got for Surrey, like she just looks like the most carefree, effortless player. And I feel like she'd be really fun to play with. So I'd say her.
Teammate most likely to be late for a team meet time?
Oh, ooh. Who's most likely to be late?
Throw him under the bus, go on.
Oh, to be fair, on the weekend it was actually me because I took a wrong turn on the way to the ground. So who was after me? Kelly Castle was after me on the weekend. Name drop. But actually, you know what? All in all, we're actually a pretty punctual team, I must say. So it might be more me actually than most other people.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, I was trying to think of someone and I was actually, oh, it's probably more me.
Music in the dressing room. Who's in charge?
Ooh, you know what? It's normally James Hockley. He's normally all over it. Or Jonesy. Jonesy loves a bit of Taylor Swift actually. He'll whack that on the speaker.
Next question. Who is the biggest joker in the changing room?
Biggest joker. I'd say at the moment either Izzy Cloak or Holly Young or together. It's a pretty good combo. But no, there's always some good chat and laughs going on when they're around for sure.
And then a big one, coffee or tea?
Coffee. Every day.
We've had quite a few mixed bags on that answer.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah,
To be fair, quite a lot of girls in the team don't drink coffee, actually. Yeah.
And then just to finish up with, what series are you currently watching at the moment?
I'm currently watching Scandal. Not sure if anyone's watched Scandal, but one of my favorite series, Rivals, the new series is out this Friday, and I'm very excited for that. So a little shout out to Rivals.
And I guess just to finish, when is Kent's next match and who is it against?
We've actually got a weekend off this weekend, which is I'm greatly looking forward to. So that would be lovely. And our next game, very excitingly, is actually a double header T20 at Lords. So very excited for that. The team's literally buzzing for it. So yeah, I think it'll be nice to have a weekend off and then hit the ground running, hopefully, in the Blast comp. So yeah, should be good.
You've just made me realise how close the Blast is. That is
I know, it's crazy,
terrifying.
isn't it? I can't. We've already played half the amount of games in this comp. It's already crazy.
See, we've already had a bye weekend, so we've only played 3 50 over matches.
Yeah.
We've literally gone we went you guys.
Yeah, because that was a month ago now, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know. I need to get some runs again. Gosh.
You've acted so well that game though. I was like, oh god, straight away.
I was like, can I have that back
again? The week, Coco. Put us out in our own team of the week.
Someone has to.
Yeah,
be
humble.
I
rated that. It's got to be done. It's got to be done.
100%. Yeah, literally, we had we played you guys, had a bye weekend. Then it was the county cup.
Yeah.
And then we've had 250 over sort of back to back, and then obviously it's back to T20 for us again this weekend.
Yeah, so strange because I think ours, because we haven't had a bye yet. I think in August we only have 2 games or something.
Oh, whereas August is probably going to be busy. Then.
I was going to say you guys might have a couple more, but yeah, I feel like it is obviously quite random who's as well.
Yeah,
and then we'll be playing. We'll probably have 2 games a week for the next few weeks. Or something. So.
Yeah.
But no, who have you guys got first?
Lost in the cricket season.
I know. It feels like we've honestly been going for months already. It's crazy.
Rosa, anything else you want to add?
No, all happy. Thank you so much for joining us.
That's all right. No, thank you for having me.
No, you keep every week when you're scoring runs.
I keep scoring runs.
Literally every week when you got your 100, I messaged Rose. I was like, "She's scoring runs again," and then you got the 100 again. I was like, "She's scored another 100."
What an amazing chat there with Coco. She provided some really interesting insights, and also I think provoked our brains slightly about the loan system. So it was great to hear her perspective there.
Yeah, it was a really, really good, honest, in-depth chat, and one that I think she's quite humble about her performances and how she's been performing with the bat and sort of leading that Kent batting lineup. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased for her after seeing her in a few seasons when we were at Southie Stars in the regional era, that she's really, really worked hard on her game to produce these match-winning performances.
I completely agree. Shall we end things with our teams of the week? Shall we start with tier 2? Because I suspect that a certain Coco Streets may have found her way in there again.
We shall. I'm going to say for you to go first because basically I have got 2 players in my captaincy position, and whoever you've picked, I'm not going to pick.
I respect the hustle. Fair enough. 100%. Let's do it. This was a bit of an interesting one because there weren't many players who did ridiculous things. We've had a few weeks where there's been 5 players score 100 or multiple players take 5. It's been a bit more tame, so I had to really think about this team of the week. Opening the batting, I've got Daisy Jeans of Glamorgan with a century, backed up with Coco Streets of Kent. It just had to be. At 3, I've got Pippa Sproul of Middlesex, followed by Phoebe Wilkinson of Sussex at 4. At 5, Megan McColl of Glamorgan for another century, 111 not out. Absolutely mental for the Scottish batter. At 6, Outer Barnfather of Kent. At 7, and my wicket keeper. What's a keeper? 7, and my wicket keeper, Rachel King of Kent, with 46 runs, and she also contributed behind the stumps. At 8, Saskia Hawley of at 8, Saskia Hawley of Middlesex with 3 for 37. She's also my captain. At 9, Rochana Kambamti, also of Middlesex, another 3 wickets for her. At 10, Kiara Green of Sussex. And at 11, Poppy Tulloch of Sussex. My 12ers are Charlie Phillips of Gloucestershire with 3 for 45 and Lenny Sims of Northants with 1 for 25. I was very impressed by her economy.
We've got a fairly similar lineup. I feel like you said you had 2 wicket keepers. Did you say you had Pippa Sprout and Rachel King?
Yeah, but Rachel King's wicket keeping.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Now, the person you picked as your captain, I will take out of mine so she's not my captain. So let me just edit that. Okay, I've got opening the batting is Coco Streets with her opening partner of Daisy Jeans. Coming in at 3, and my wicket keeper is Pippa Sprout. 4, Phoebe Wilkinson. 5, Megan McCall. 6, Georgie Irvin. 7, Elsa Barnfather. 8, and my captain, Kiara Green. 9, Poppy Tulloch. 10, Rochana Kambamti. 11, Ellie Phillips. And my 2 12ers are Amy Wheeler and Charlie Phillips.
Rough day that for, oh my God, Saskia Hawley. Missing out purely because she's in mine.
Well, she can join my 12ers list, to be fair. I can switch her out with either Amy or Charlie, but I literally wrote in that captain position both of them because they both bowl off spin and they both bat. Kiara scored a quick fire 42 off 27 balls and her 3 for 36. So it sort of was a little match winning knock, I think, at that time. It sort of changed the game. But yeah, Saskia Hawley's usually in my team of the week in, week out. So I thought I'll spice it up and change it around and give some other players a go.
I respect it. 2 very strong teams of round 4 of the Metro Bank One Day Cup League 2. Christ, say that 4 times quickly. Shall we move on to Tier 1 for round 8 of League 1, which happened on the 12th/the 13th of May?
Now, I actually think this one was quite hard to do because there were standout performances, but there wasn't like a big standout performer in each game. So I have got opening the batting, and my captain is Tammy Beaumont. Coming in at 2, her opening partner is Annika Leroy. 3, Flo Miller. 4, Georgia Elwes. 5, Caris Pavley. 6, Alice Monaghan. 7, and my wicketkeeper is Ariana Dowse. 8, Mary Taylor. 9, Priyanaz Chatterjee. 10, Amanda Jade Wellington. 11, Danny Gregory. And my 12th is Grace Potts.
We've gone so different. We have gone so different. And that sums up what Chloe's just said, that there wasn't really anyone who really stood out, per se.
Yeah. I tried to put my coach's head on and think of like seamers, spinners, opening batters, use my wicketkeeper. Yeah. And some people are batting out of order, but this is how I would line up this team that I have picked.
Don't worry, mate. You haven't heard my batting order yet. Okie dokie. You see, when it gets difficult, Chloe puts on a coach's hat. When I get difficult, I do eeny, meeny, miny, moe. No, I don't. I'm joking. My team of round 8 had to be Tammy Beaumont opening batting. We should point out that she was stranded on 99 not out, which was absolutely brutal. And Sarah Bryce looked like she felt incredibly guilty about it, batting at the end of that game. Opening with Ella McCacken of Hampshire. At 3, Annika Leroy of Somerset. At 4, Caris Pavley of Warwickshire. At 5, Flo Miller of Essex. At 6, Georgia Elwes of the Blaze. At 7, I've got Seska Sweet in for her first 50 in Tier 1. Congratulations to her. At 8, I've got Nat Rafe, who's also my wicketkeeper. She scored a handy 34 not out. At 9, Priyana's Chatterjee with wickets and runs. At 10, Mary Taylor of Warwickshire. At 11, Danny Gregory of Surrey. And then my 2 12ers are Kirsty Gordon of Blaze and Jess Jonathan of Yorkshire. And I should also say that my captain is Tammy Beaumont, I forgot to say.
Yeah, I feel like you've gone logical of people in their positions, whereas I picked Ariana Douse as a keeper because I know that she is a keeper alongside, obviously, Amara Carr is first choice at Essex. So sort of going a bit creative out of the box, putting a coach's hat on, where I guess you've gone quite logical with players in their positions of where they're at. But like the top 4, top 5 were all the same players, just in different orders. And then, just gone a bit left and right with a variety of players there. But no, I enjoyed that. That's good.
Great stuff. Great way to end the podcast. And we're going to have an awful lot more to speak to you about next week, I'm sure. But I think that's all for now.
That is all for now. Hope you all have a lovely weekend and enjoy the County Cup and get down to a game. And we shall see you later.
I'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks for listening to this week's 2 Tiers Deep. If you like to find me, Chloe Hill, you can find myself on Instagram with a new Instagram page covering this podcast at 2 Tiers Deep CH. Or I'll pass you over Rosa to find herself at
Rosa Talks Ball. Or if you have any questions, you can contact us on rosatalksball@gmail.com. And please don't hesitate to get in touch.